her best friend Nadal say they are dating. And you won't believe the wild secrets we're gonna reveal today.
Does Kay don't know about this?
Yeah.
Then he won't mind if I ask him. I want you to be honest with me. What is their relationship status?
Bro, why do I keep bringing that up?
And this might be the hardest video we ever filmed for me. Have you ever kissed any boy?
I actually have no idea which boy has a crush on me and if he's still even in the game or if he's eliminated.
I'm in another table with Din Tai Fung and I'm gonna be watching everything they do on my phone.
Let's not waste any time and get straight to the point. Jordan Matter, once celebrated as the creative photographer who could turn 10 minutes into a viral masterpiece, is now one of the most criticized figures on YouTube. Not because of his photography, not because of his artistry, but because of the way he's built his channel around his daughter. And the internet has a lot to say about it. Now, before we go any deeper, I need to make one thing absolutely clear. This is not about blaming a child. Salish has no fault in this whatsoever. She's just a kid, showing up in videos that her father decides to film and publish. All of the responsibility for how she appears, how often she appears, and the way those appearances are packaged, that lies entirely with Jordan. And that's exactly why people are so divided about him. When Jordan Matter first entered the YouTube scene, he wasn't known as a family content creator. He was the guy who'd run into public spaces with dancers and models, pull off crazy photography challenges, and shock audiences with what he could create under pressure. His 10-minute photo challenge series alone gave him a reputation as a fast, daring, and wildly creative artist. It was about the photography, the art, and the hustle. For a while, that was his brand. But slowly, things began to shift. The channel that once highlighted Jordan's lens on the world started narrowing down to one subject, his daughter. And at first, people thought it was sweet. A dad including his child in videos? That seemed wholesome. But as time went on, the appearances grew more frequent, the thumbnails started to feature her more prominently, and the titles leaned heavily into her personality. Soon enough, Jordan Matter wasn't known as the photographer who makes art out of chaos. He became the dad who films his daughter, and that's where the criticism exploded.
So the question is my daughter Salish actually dating Nadal or are they faking it? He has a secret crush on my daughter Salish and today I have to figure out who it is. They will have to complete a series of elimination challenges until I make my final. With one sentence, what's your favorite thing about Salish? If I hit the green, you move on to the next round. If I hit the red, you are eliminated. Number one.
Let's start with what people are saying online. Critics argue that Jordan has essentially shifted the entire direction of his channel to capitalize on his daughter's presence. They point out that the majority of his viral videos in the past couple of years center around her. Challenges, collaborations with other influencers, prank-style videos, and reaction-based content. For some viewers, it doesn't even feel like Jordan Matter's channel anymore. It feels like Salish Matter's channel, except under her father's name. And this is where people start raising eyebrows. Because if the content, the clicks, and the revenue are driven by his daughter's face and personality, who is really benefiting here? Jordan, the adult, is the one controlling the channel, controlling the monetization, and controlling the business decisions. Which means, no matter how much fun it looks like on camera, critics say this is less about creativity and more about profiting off a child. Now, of course, there are fans who push back against this narrative. They argue that Jordan is just being a supportive father. They point out that his daughter often seems happy in the videos, laughing, smiling, and enjoying herself. To them, this is just a dad including his kid in his work, giving her exposure and opportunities that most children never get. Some even go as far as saying Jordan is helping set her up for her own career in entertainment if she chooses to pursue it. They call it a bonding experience, not exploitation. And that's the heart of the debate. One side sees father-daughter bonding, the other side sees opportunistic content creation. But what's undeniable is that Jordan knows what he's doing when it comes to YouTube strategy. His thumbnails are brightly colored, his titles are dramatic, and the focus almost always revolves around his daughter. That kind of packaging is no accident. It's designed to grab attention, to spark curiosity, and most importantly, to pull in millions of views. And with millions of views comes serious revenue. So when people say Jordan is using his daughter for money, This is what they're pointing to. The fact that her presence is what drives the success of the channel, and by extension, the business Jordan has built. And let's be real, this isn't just a Jordan Matter issue. It ties into a much bigger conversation happening across YouTube and social media. Family vloggers and influencer parents have been under fire for years. Whether it's channels like Daddy05, the Ace family, or other family-centered creators, the criticism is always the same. When you put kids at the center of your content, you're walking a fine line between showcasing family life and exploiting children. That line is blurry. And in Jordan's case, people are questioning whether he's crossed it. Some critics argue that it's not just about whether a child looks happy on camera in the moment. It's about the long-term consequences of having your entire childhood broadcast to millions of strangers. Growing up in the spotlight can strip kids of privacy, create pressure to perform, and even affect their mental health down the line. And when a parent is the one choosing to put their child in that position, people are right to question it. What happens when Salish looks back as a teenager or adult and realizes that millions of people have consumed, commented on, and even criticized her childhood? What happens if she decides she didn't want that life, but it's too late to take it back? These are the questions people are asking, and they're not unreasonable. On the other hand, defenders say the internet is overreacting. They argue that Salish clearly has a supportive family around her, that Jordan is protective, and that she has agency in whether she wants to appear or not. They claim that critics are projecting negativity onto what might simply be a fun project between a dad and his daughter. And again, in fairness, that could be true. From the outside, we don't know exactly how these decisions are made, but here's the undeniable truth. Jordan's career has shifted drastically. He built his name on creativity, speed, and artistic vision. Now, his name is synonymous with family-style content centered around his daughter. And whether fans want to defend it or not, that shift has brought with it a flood of criticism, because people don't just see a dad and daughter making fun videos. They see thumbnails designed for maximum clicks, they see titles crafted to stir curiosity, and they see a channel where the most consistent and successful ingredient isn't Jordan himself, it's his child. That's why words like exploitation and using her for money keep popping up in conversations about him. And let's not ignore how this could affect their relationship behind the scenes. When your bond with your child becomes tied to content creation, filming schedules, and monetization, how authentic can that bond really stay? What happens when she doesn't feel like filming? What happens if she says no? Does that mean less content, fewer views, and less revenue? These are uncomfortable questions, but they're questions people are asking for a reason. Some people have even pointed out that Jordan's brand has become so dependent on his daughter that it would be difficult for him to pivot back to being just a photographer. The audience he's built now expects family-based videos. And when a creator's career depends on their child's participation, that raises serious concerns about whether the child truly has the freedom to step away if she ever wanted to. Now, does this mean Jordan is a bad father? No, nobody on the outside can judge his parenting entirely. But does it mean his decisions as a content creator deserve scrutiny? Absolutely. Because the internet is full of examples where family fun turned into exploitation, where kids grew up resenting the cameras, and where money and fame came before a child's privacy. Critics see Jordan's channel as part of that same dangerous pattern, and this is why you keep hearing people say, this has to stop. Because at the end of the day, kids don't get to choose whether they grow up on camera. That choice is made for them. And once it's out there, it can never be taken back. Jordan may believe he's giving his daughter opportunities, but critics believe he's taking away something far more valuable, her right to a private, pressure-free childhood. The debate around Jordan Matter isn't going anywhere. His fans will continue to defend him, praising him as a supportive father who's giving his child opportunities. His critics will continue to call him out, insisting that he's crossed the line into exploiting her for views and revenue. And somewhere in the middle lies the truth, a complicated mix of family dynamics, content strategy, and the unavoidable reality of growing up in the public eye. The only thing that's clear is this: Jordan's channel is no longer about him. It's about her, and the longer that continues, the louder the criticism will get. The internet is watching closely, and people are demanding accountability. So the question is, will Jordan Matter take a step back and reevaluate the role his daughter plays in his content? Or will he continue down this path until the backlash becomes too big to ignore? Because one thing is certain, the internet doesn't stay silent forever. And when it comes to kids growing up online, people are more protective, more vocal, and more relentless than ever.